So, okay. Someone needs to explain to me what I just read. I'm so confused about like what I feel and like why I kind of loved it. I read The Cruel Prince by Holly Black, a series that I never thought that I would read because I don't really like fairies. I don't hate them, but I'm not like a huge fairy story person. But something came over me and I decided to pick it up again. And by something, I mean TikTok. Okay, this is the real reason. My YouTube homepage recommended a edit of Cardan and Jude that featured like these two actors, and one of those actors was Thomas Doherty as Cardan. So I basically had no other choice. Ooh, that edit. Whoever makes these kinds of edits are actually doing like God's work. If I can find it, I'll like link it in the description, but there's no way I'm gonna find it again. It's like one of those things that show up on your YouTube homepage. It was created in like 2007 and shows up in like 2020. Once you refresh, like that's it. Like you can't find it ever again. Like it's down a rabbit hole. Anyway, so I finished this book and I'm so confused about Jude and Cardan, but I kind of love it. In a stupor one night, and it was like a 2 a.m. decision, I tier ranked the characters of The Cruel Prince. So here are my tiers. Just soak it in. Oh, by the way, that okay tier is not like a okay tier. It's like a okay. It's that kind of okay tier. I'm not gonna defend my comments. Like I said what I said. Okay, so let's just dive right into this. This prologue is the most traumatic prologue I've ever read in my life. Okay, listen, the thing that shocked me the most in this book was the fact that everyone, for some reason, everyone except for Vivi and sometimes Jude, I don't know, not that I can speak upon this because I have never been whisked away from my family by my parents' murderer and then forced into their guardianship. That's never happened to me, but these girls are literally living in a horror movie. They're literally forced to live with their parents' murderer. And on top of that, Maddox keeps the freaking like blood hood as like a trophy. Like any of the girls can just go see it and think like, ah yes, my parents' murderer. Every time they gave any type of grace to Maddox, I was like, wait, but didn't he murder your parents? I was this close to putting Maddox in the 6 feet under tier, but I put him in the wafer thin ice tier because I felt like I was supposed to. The thing is that a lot of the times in this book, Maddox is always described to like be violent and like love war by his nature because he's like a general, right? That's a super flimsy argument though for being a murderer. Am I gonna get canceled because I don't know like fairy culture? Like, is this normal? Should my rules of morality be a little bit more flexible? Just saying that like he can't help it. Maddox can't help it. He's a general. It's in his disposition to like murder people. I'm like, is it really not up to him? Does he really not have a choice in the matter at all? I'm not out here about to blame Jude for feeling the way that she does. Maddox still on like wafer thin ice. 0.1 of a wafer thin ice. The first introduction to Cardan and his little gang, I wanted to throw up a little bit. I was like, ew, I hate him. Between one eye blink and the next, the prince's bald fist strikes the boy hard across the jaw, sending him sprawling. As the boy, I can't even read this. As the boy falls, Cardan grabs one of his wings. It tears like paper. I was reading this and I was like, this is the guy that people are lusting over? Like, his sister canceled? Like, what? Do you know what it was? It wasn't even that he's like mean. He just seems so like petty. I don't know. He seems very much like middle school hockey boy, just got on the provincial team, thinks he's better than everyone. I swore that I would not engage with any type of guy like that ever again. So, but Locke paused by the boy, bending down to help him to his feet. I really think that I'm gonna be like Jude when in actuality I'm definitely like the annoying little sister who gets manipulated. I'm definitely the Taryn in this novel because when I first read that I was like, oh. I was like, Locke? Like a fool. Passing us, Cardan kicks dirt onto my food right before I put it into my mouth. I think that's what really gets me, like how stupid the things he does is very much like the equivalent of like whoopee cushion prank. Like just head empty, kick the dirt. I'm gonna put some dirt in your eye. Very much that energy. So I'm just here like, why are people so obsessed with Cardan and Jude? I truly don't see anything redeemable in that relationship. But then like throughout the story, there'll be like moments where it's like Cardan's gaze catches mine and I can't help the evil smile that pulls up the corners of my mouth. His eyes are bright as coals, his hatred a living thing, shimmering in the air between us like the air above black rocks on a blazing summer day. And I'm like reading this and I'm like, what's happening here? I'm so confused. What is this feeling that I'm feeling right now? They dragged Jude and Taryn to that like creek with like the Nixies. First of all, I was like, if I thought anything of Cardan, if I thought anything was redeemable about the relationship, it's not anymore. Because literally what is this? Like, yes, the sixth love language, murder. But then right when I thought that, I see something. Cardan says like, does that feel noble? And then Jude says, why don't you tell me how you want me to feel? So confused. So confused. I'm like, oh, Jude? Suddenly I'm like, same thing happened like during that tournament thingy when Cardan walks up to Taryn and like says something to her, and then Jude is like really sussed out by that. She goes and freaking punches him across the face. For a moment, Cardan just stares at me with stupid crow black eyes. Then one corner of his mouth curls. Oh, he says, you're going to regret doing that. And I'm like here like, why am I feeling this way? Like, why am I kind of invested? And I'm like, no, it's just entertaining. Like, that's what it is, Sunny. Like, don't be ridiculous. You don't condone this relationship. Okay, here's the turning point. Here was the up on the roller coaster structure of plot. They forced Jude to eat that freaking fairy apple thing, and it's like, it was so uncomfy. They like make her strip and just be in her underwear. First of all, I don't understand how like this can just happen and like no one is like saying anything. Maybe I'm just too mortal. Like, I'm just too mortal for this world. I'm like looking at this and I'm like, this is so uncomfy and problematic. Literally just like a group of guys, one girl making another girl strip in her underwear. Yes, it was Nikasha. It was the girl who like commanded her to do it, but I'm like, you ain't slick, Holly Black. I know exactly what this looks like right now and it's uncomfy, okay? And then she throws in this line, looking up at Cardan, something strikes me wrong. His eyes are glittering with fury and desire and maybe even shame. Of course, Locke, the hero, is the one to like wrap her up in a blanket and go, and then me, the naive fool that I am, was like, aw, Locke. I still don't condone the relationship. Even at that point I didn't, because like, you're not a good guy, you're literally complicit. And then it was when Cardan pricked her thumb with that pin and I was like, okay. And then she's like, ow, and then she sucks on her blood and she's like, oh, blood has salt in it. And then it snaps her out of the fairy fruit thingy. That was the point when I was like, Sunny, oh no. Oh no. I can feel it happening right now. I was like, no, we're not gonna do this right now. We're not about to stand Cardan because we're really grasping at straws for like small moments of mild kindness. That's what the trick is. The bar is in hell at this point. Anything is like astronomical, but it worked. I don't know. And then when Jude sneaks into that castle and then accidentally spies Cardan being like beat by his brother, I feel like that's the point where like Cardan is supposed to be like mildly redeemed. It's awful that that was happening to him, but honestly, like, to me it wasn't justified still, the way that he was treating other people. Okay, and then Jude finds that freaking piece of paper in Alice in Wonderland that just has her name on it over and over again. If I knew that I was taking up like that much real estate of someone's mind, I would get out of there. That's ooh. And Jude is like, oh my gosh, like, this is how much he hates me. Holly Black, I know what you're doing here. I know there's a thin line between love and hate. Like, I know what you're doing. It's kind of working. I kind of feel it. Like, like I'm kind of obsessed with them. Okay, anyway, and then she stabs Valerian when he like tries to kill her. Oh my gosh, and then Dane gets like mad at her for no reason. Dane got mad at her for stabbing Valerian, which essentially lets him know that like enchantments don't work on her for some reason when it was supposed to be a secret. And I'm like, okay, but what did you want her to do? Like, listen? then she would be dead. I don't understand what the point of this is. Then she ends up killing Valerian. It's said that fairies' bodies don't decay the way that like mortal bodies do. They actually like turn into like a plant or like moss or something like that. So like tag yourself, like what would you decay into? I think that I would decay into those like mushroom cap thingy. They grow on like the bark of a tree trunk, you know? I think I would grow into that because I'm clingy. Quick intermission, just as a PSA to say that like the ghost is my favorite character. What's his deal? Like I want to know his story, you know what I mean? Okay, and then turns out that Taryn and Jude have both been like with Locke. It was just so out of pocket. I was like, for what reason?
You did this for what? Why not? Why? Why not? Why though?
He definitely thinks that he's the main character when he's not. And then it's like the coronation scene, which is literally the red wedding, but like make it the red coronation. This is when like Jude runs into Cardan, and then Cardan is like, it's not safe for you here, especially if you go around stabbing everyone. Absurdity of the statement aside, I have no idea why he's acting as though he's ever thought about my safety for a moment. Listen, I don't condone, but don't I? Just caring for someone's safety, like literally the bare minimum. Just like being an almost decent person. Why did that get me? I hate how I feel around him. The irrational panic when I touch his skin. Very much that one episode of The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody when Troy Bolton, freaking Mr. Zac Efron, makes a special guest appearance on this one episode as Maddie's rival, and they hate each other. And
cry me a river.
If I did, you'd pollute it.
You bleeding heart liberal.
Establishment puppet.
You want to kiss me as much as I want to kiss you?
I'm surprised someone as smart as you would have to ask.
they walked so Jude and Cardan could run. TLDR, I wish they hadn't kissed, but the ending makes up for it because I think they still hate each other, but they kind of want each other. And I'm kind of obsessed with it. Okay, I need to go take a nap. I need to go. This is, my brain can't, I can't. Why? Okay, bye.